Hello, got a problem with this one. I need your help, really. This is not something I've come across before. This is rather well. We'll have a look at it and see. But yeah, I do really need some advice. So maybe you can give me some advice on what to do with this, and we'll see if it's practical. Anyway, let's get stuck in and we'll give it a go. What we have here is a Crosley. Now, I've not seen too many of these in the UK, but I do know they exist, and Recordology does a lot about them. But this is a Crosley which was gifted to me because they were doing a house clearance. I also got about 300 CDs and 150 records and 150 78s. So they were a very prolific collector, and as you can see here, it's actually got a UK plug on it. This is strange to say the least. Looking around, looking at the left-hand side, you can see here it's got some speaker vents, and here you've got an SD card and a USB socket. And then looking at the back, you can see there it's got the Crosley Scott and Company, which is the importers. And looking on there, you can see it's got manufactured January 2011, and the speakers internal, external. It's a hardboard back with holes drilled in it. And looking on here, you can see we've got a line input, so you can turn the line input on and off, presumably to stop hum or just isolate it. And yeah, it's got all the normal warnings on it. Now it's 18 watts, it says there. That's 18 watts, so I would guess that's probably about 5 watts per channel, if that. Looking at the right side now, you can see they've still got those speaker vents again. I'm not sure if they're actually dummies because they look like they might be. And then we've got the cassette insert slot, and it looks like it's still got the film on it, which is quite interesting. So that's where the cassette slot in, so that's your single button operation. And now just to make sure, yeah, there's definitely a mechanism in there, so that should be interesting. Looking at the front now, you can see we've got there 2 switches for functions, and then we've got the other buttons which do various things. And there's the dial there and the volume on off switch. Got a sensor for the remote. I haven't got the remote control, but there's a power light there. And yeah, so you've got the full controls for the CD and SD card and the USB. And then you've got the knobs for volume and tuning. Now, both of those feel quite nice. I'm actually quite surprised how good this stuff feels, because obviously it's been touted as being a very cheap product. But the wood feels like real wood. It looks like real wood. It's probably only veneer, but it's very well done veneer. You've got to give them credit for the target audience is going to be looking for quality of furniture rather than quality of sound. So on that basis, 10 out of 10. Whilst it's 10 out of 10 for looks, the functionality is a bit difficult. This here shows you here. This is a lip on this is all the way around the turntable, and that thing there, the cartridge, can only be raised about half an inch. Actually, you can't get it above the height of the lip, so you can't get into it to service it. You can see that clearer here because I'm trying to get in with the camera. That's why it's in the wrong orientation. But this is how much you've actually got lift. That's it, full movement. And that's how you've got to get in there. You can't actually get underneath it because the lip at the edge, which you can see there, gets in the way. Okay, well, so looking now, we can see it's got the normal, relatively large platted plastic turntable. It's got the little knobs on it. It feels okay. I mean, it's a plastic turntable. What more can you say? What I will say is it is sprung mounted, but the arm there, it's got the Chiudenchi type cartridge, and it's sort of, it's there. I managed to get this out to discover it's the plastic cantilever one, and God, the job I had putting it back in again was not easy, I can tell you. You can't even get your fingers underneath it. I will admit to a bit of excitement here. This is the first time I've powered this thing up, and we're going to give it a go, see what happens. There's nothing happening, which is slightly strange. So let's have a look, see what's what. Nothing's happening at all. So let's try switching these switches. Now these are all touch button switches, sort of like general touch, and these 2 are sliders. So we'll see what happens there. That's the AM, FM and FM stereo switch, and the one above it is the function switch, as in what's going to be actually doing. It's meant to be on radio, so now I put it, it's lit up. Put it onto what's CD, but that screen in the middle is not as bright as that looks, and nothing is happening. Oh, nothing is happening at all. Oh well, okay, let's try some of the other buttons, see if it's anything hit there. No, right, okay. And let's try the switch in a different position. There's nothing from there. There's a bit of hum, but not enough to hear. So this is all a bit strange. Right, so let's see what we can do now. Let's check the switches again. No, it's definitely not. I haven't missed anything. So let's switch that. Oh, now that says phono. So let's see what happens there. And yeah, okay, nothing's happening there. It's nil. That's the record and erase nil. So, but nothing. So there's no whirring. There's nothing else happening here at all. It's all rather disappointing. The tuning has no effect. You never know with these things. It's even in fault conditions they can give you some strange results. So turn it back to radio and then back onto phono, and yeah, I wish the can would stop flickering, but there we go. Okay, so it's definitely not working. Now, did you see that power light? It changed brightness there. It is the camera's doing a funny thing with it, but if it's on there, it's fairly bright. Then you switch it over. Oh, look there. You know, that went out then. Now that's strange. And that's brighter and that's gone dimmer again. So there's something strange behind the switches. Now I'm thinking it could just be that the switches need cleaning, but I don't know. Well, the arm is microphonic, so let's put a record on the turntable and see what that does. Could be interesting. Okay, I had a bit of a problem with the 45 adapter, but let's see what it sounds like then. This is from the record that we just looked at, and let's see what it sounds like. My phone's got a little bit of phasing on it, so it's not quite as good as it should do. I know what you mean. I felt the same way too. But it sounds pretty good to me. It's nice, not hi-fi. Seeing as the function for the tape is on the same switch position as for the phono, let's have a look and see what the tape is like. And we've got here some tapes that, well, they're Tudor. What better to use in an unknown deck? I'm really quite worried about this. I haven't seen one successfully work in one of these. Anyway, let's see. Let's shove it in the L, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, clunk. Yeah, that's okay. Well, so that's not actually making any noise. Let's try switching the switches and see what happens. And so that's in the phono position, but the screen isn't alight now, so I don't know what's going on. It seems to want to be doing something, but it hasn't got all the control signals, obviously. So just try the other buttons. Nothing appears to be wrong. So, well, there's the dilemma. I've got myself a nice piece of wood which can play records, and it can play records okay, but it can't do anything else, and it should be able to do anything else. I've got a lot of CDs to try out. Anyway, so my question is, does anybody know anything about these things? Because I haven't been able to find anything online about them, so could have a quick look in, but I don't know whether it's worth it, or should I just, convert it, put a decent amplifier in it, or what would you do? Seems to me that it's one of these things where at the moment the world is my oyster. I can do what I like. I can leave it as it is and just use it as a record player, or I can try and repair it, or I can try and make it into something different. So I'm not sure where to go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, then please like and subscribe. Subscribe is good for the channel. It makes more people be able to see it. And if you ring the bell, you can actually get notified of when things are going to happen. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you another time. Cheers. Don't forget, I need to know what to do.